450 race enduro weighing barely more than 108 kilograms, 6 gears, lights, indicators, even a license plate holder. On paper, the KTM 450 EXC-F sounds like the perfect base for an extreme street supermoto. But this is where the first problem appears. KTM states in its own manual that the bike can only be used on public roads in its approved restricted form. The unrestricted version belongs on closed courses away from public traffic. And that is not the only reason why this supermoto conversion is more complicated than it first appears. So, is the 2026 KTM 450 EXC-F really the ultimate supermoto with a license plate? Or is it still a race bike that can only pretend to be practical? The foundation is seriously impressive. Inside the frame is a liquid-cooled 449.9 cubic centimeters single-cylinder engine with K-HIN fuel injection and a 6-speed gearbox. KTM does not publish an official peak power figure, so you should be careful with all the horsepower numbers you see online. The power-to-weight ratio matters much more anyway. Depending on which official KTM source you use, the bike weighs roughly 107 to 109 kilograms without fuel. That is close to the weight of a pure race supermoto, but with a 6th gear and the basic equipment needed for road approval. For 2026, KTM did not completely redesign the EXC-F. Instead, it improved several important areas. The 48mm WP fork received lighter parts and updated settings, saving around 200 grams. The rear WP PDS shock was also retuned. There's a better protected fuel connector, a new radiator cap and a cooling fan fitted as standard across the EXC-F range. Those are useful improvements for an enduro bike, but for a supermoto they only tell half the story. From the factory, the EXC-F uses a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. Up front, it only has a 260mm brake disc, and the suspension offers a huge 300mm of travel at the front and 310 at the rear. That makes perfect sense in the dirt. On asphalt, it means one thing: fitting a pair of 17-inch wheels is not enough. A proper supermoto conversion also needs road tires, a stronger front brake, firmer suspension settings, suitable gearing and a correctly adjusted speedometer. After that, every new part still needs to meet the legal rules in your country. The difference becomes clear when you compare it with KTM's real race supermoto, the 450 SMR. The SMR has a much larger 310mm front brake, less suspension travel and dedicated supermoto wheels. But it only has 5 gears and it is designed specifically for the racetrack. So the EXC-F is not simply a 450 SMR with a license plate. It is a different mix: long travel enduro suspension, 6 gears and the possibility of road registration, but only in its restricted form. And this is the most important point. A license plate does not automatically mean that the engine's full unrestricted performance is legal on the street. KTM makes it clear in the manual: restricted on public roads, unrestricted only away from public traffic. So anyone converting a 450 EXC-F into a supermoto has to think about more than wheels and brakes. You also need to know which engine configuration is actually registered and insured. That detail decides whether you end up with a legal street bike or simply a race bike with lights. Then we reach the second big reality: maintenance. The official service schedule is not measured in long road mile intervals, it is measured in operating hours. Engine oil and filter service appears every 15 hours. Larger inspections follow at 45 and 90 hours, including a major engine service. Of course, that schedule is designed around hard competition use. Gentle street riding may put less stress on the engine, but the basic design does not change. This is a lightweight competition engine carrying only 1.2 liters of oil. That is the price of its sharp, aggressive riding feel. The electronics are also fairly simple. 2 engine maps, traction control and a quick shifter are available depending on the version or as optional equipment. The quick shifter works from 2nd through 6th gear. But do not expect the large electronics package found on modern street bikes. And this project is not cheap either. In Europe, the 2026 model cost roughly between 12.5 and 13,000 euros before adding Supermoto wheels, a stronger brake, suspension work and road approval. So what is left of the dream of the ultimate 450 Supermoto? The dream is still alive, but only for the right rider. If you want an extremely light motorcycle with real race bike character, and if oil changes, mechanical work and legal questions are all part of the project for you, the 450 EXC-F is one of the most exciting starting points available. But if you want to ride every day, cover long distances and spend as little time as possible working on the bike, a heavier street supermoto like the 690 SMCR is probably the smarter choice. The greatest strength of the EXC-F is also its biggest weakness. It is not a street bike trying to look like a race bike. It is a race bike that is allowed to carry a license plate in its restricted form. And that is exactly why it can become an incredible supermoto. But it will never be comfortable, cheap or simple. So which one would you choose? A no-compromise 450 EXC-F Supermoto conversion or the heavier but far more practical 690 SMCR?